Hello everybody, welcome to another 5k everyday row. The name's a little bit misleading because I'm the only one that's going to be really trying to hit that 5k. You can row whatever you want. I'm going to be on here for, I don't know, around about 22 minutes. So possibly you're going to get past 5k in those 22 minutes. Maybe you won't quite get there. Maybe you're already rowing in a bid to get to that 5k at the point that I do. So that's the point of today's workout, right? It's really low pressure. I'm just going to talk stuff. It's not going to be all about, oh, let's try and go really fast. How's your pace? How's your pace? We're just going to have a nice little row together, all right? So you can see in the background, I've been setting up the imersU Row app. That's what we're going to use today. I've got one last couple of buttons to press to get it started, so there'll be a little bit of a dodgy cut. Don't worry about that. However, we do need to get our machine set up. I'll go through this really quickly. Go to your resistance, drag factor, lever setting, whatever you have on your machine, set it to where you want it to be, okay? Nicely connected to the stroke, but you don't have to tug and heave against it. Then go to your foot straps and set them where you want them to be in terms of your foot height. What I recommend is getting the strap at a height where you're able to come into the front of the machine with your shins in a vertical position comfortably. Now, usually that means that the strap covers the widest part of your feet, the balls of your feet. So that's where to set, and then you can adjust up and down from there depending on the shoes that you're wearing, all that kind of stuff. It's all personal. It's a great thing about rowing. So I'm going to go full screen as we cover the dodgy cut, take my fleece off, and we'll be ready to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're off. Oh, okay, my heel is slightly out of the foot plate. There we go. All right. Professional, John, professional. So, first things first, on the imersU Row app today, I have flipped the view because John Edge was in touch and said that he wasn't too sure about not seeing where he was going on screen. If that makes sense. Like, I know, see, this is the thing, like when I spent quite a lot last year making kayak videos, virtual rowing videos basically. So I'd take my kayak out onto various lochs and things and make scenic rowing videos. I know it was a kayak, not on a proper rowing ship. But I needed to be able to see forwards. But I had a camera on both ends for most of the shoots and uploaded the rower's view and then the forward view. It was interesting seeing the viewing figures and the comments for people who preferred what they were seeing on screen. Now I prefer this view. I prefer to see where I'm going rather than where I've been, but I'm sorry, been, not been. It's very Scottish. It's where I've been. But I know that people who want like an immersive rowing experience, and after all, this app is called imersU Row, then what you want to see is just the tip of your boat, but in a reverse direction to this. But, I don't know, I think this is nicer. I like seeing the trees coming round and like seeing the corner up ahead and someone in front of me. And you can see I've got the lanes set up. So I set them to an AI pace of 210. It's not really AI, is it? It's just a bot. I think everyone uses AI nowadays for things that aren't even AI. Even most of the stuff like ChatGPT, it's not really artificial intelligence. It's a artificial assistant, really, pulling together data in order to try and give you your answer. Anyway, sorry, rant. But I put in 210 on this, and so it's created the other 7 lanes as slightly faster, slightly slower, which is a great way to, if you are trying to do a time trial or something, having people that you can properly race against is very good. Anyway, so that's the app we're using today. Apologies, podcast people. You're like, hang on, man, I can't see anything. Just go to the imersU Row app website, or take a quick flick onto YouTube, look at my video from, what's today, the 14th of January, and you'll see it. So, all right, as we're coming up to 1,000 meters, I'll quickly just restate that these rows are about you getting in just a solid workout. Use it however you wish. Because I mean, yesterday I was 22 strokes a minute, right about 2:05 pace for most of the workout. Today I'm down at like 19:20 and run about 2:10 pace. I'm taking it very easy today. In fact, where are we? Time-wise, we are... Oh yeah, because there's no timer on this, is there? Well, if we're coming up at 1,200 meters in and I'm 2:10 pace, we're probably coming up for about 5 minutes in. So let's quickly do a technique checkup. I'll really try and go quick today, okay? Tell me if you leave me a comment, let me know if you'd rather I slowed down technique chat to give you a chance to focus, or whether this is enough. So, technique, think about it from the back of the stroke. As the handle comes away, that's how you start your next stroke. So handle comes into your chest at sternum height. The moment it touches your chest, let it come away. And as it does, sit up on your seat and tilt forwards. Reset your posture, tilt forwards. And as you hit a 1 o'clock tilt into the front of the machine, your arms will be straight and past your knees. Then you bend your knees. But it's a flow. It's not 3 separate moves. Arms, body, knees. Everything flows into each other. Then roll to the front of the machine until your shins are vertical. Try not to go past. And also try not to adjust anything with your back or your arms. The moment you start bending your knees, your back and arms should be locked in place, never to move again. Well, never to move until the drive. But shins vertical, into the front, and push the machine away with your feet. Push. Keep your arms straight to brace against that push. And try to hold your forwards tilt to allow that power to connect to your arms through your posterior chain, your core basically. So brace your core, push. Then, when your legs are about halfway done, that's when you start to swing your back from that forwards tilt to a backwards tilt. And as you start that swing, when it's about halfway through, that's when you finally pull the handle into sternum height again. Try and keep your wrists flat if you can. Elbows through your sides, maybe with a slightly outwards flare. And then you can squeeze shoulder blades together at the back of the stroke
to create that kind of tension from your muscles and tendons that then bounce the handle very slightly in front of you again. That's 2K done for me. Again, I'll carry on chatting for a couple of minutes once we're done anyway. So if you are eager to hit that 5K like me, I should hopefully give you enough time. But like I always say, it's more about a consistent 20 to 22 minutes every day than it is about that actual 5K. But 5K every day is a lot more flashy on a thumbnail than 21 to 22 minutes. So I said yesterday that there would likely be a day in the week where I would want to take it a little bit easier. And well, if you were following what I said before about yesterday's pace being around about 2:05, 22 strokes a minute, then you'll possibly have gone, maybe today is his easy day. And yes, it is. Because yesterday, in fact, how do I want to tell this story? Well, all right. Yesterday, I made a huge mistake. And it's really only dawned on me this morning as I woke up and went into the little boys' room and saw very clear evidence of how dehydrated I am. Because here's what happened yesterday, okay? 24 hours with John. But it is kinda, so I'll take it from here. So yesterday morning, got up, things run about 8:15. So I made yesterday's row, and then went inside, managed to get it edited together and uploaded before I left to go to Castle's gym to film some my row workouts. Oh, my row. But one crucial part of the story I've missed out is that I had, before recording the 5K every day row, not a row, 5K a day a row, I had 1 cup of coffee. And my cups of coffee are actually about 700 mils, the big gulp cup that I have. So I had one of them, made my row, had another one while I was editing the row, and then left for Castle's. This was like 11:15. Got there for 11:30, and then it's the first time I've properly filmed there. So I needed to spend, well, I spent it until 2:30, so 3 hours, kind of tidying away weights and benches and things, and then trying to find the right camera angle. Because being a gym, there's mirrors everywhere, all reflecting like windows or big wooden walls, or even just the clutter of the gym, or just me or the camera. Oh, well, not me, because I'll be on the machine, but you get what I mean, the camera. So it took me about 3 hours just to get the camera set up. So I didn't actually start rolling until about 2:30. Meanwhile, not a drop of liquid has entered my body. So it's I've already done, it was like 6K yesterday morning, and I've only had 2 cups of coffee, albeit right about 1500 mils. Guess I have to, and I start to record, and this isn't a complaint in any way, but it's really quite tough for me to be professional in as much as kind of watching every single word I say, making sure I'm hitting all the right beats, doing the 3, 2, 1 countdown in time, remembering the rate changes and stuff. And I'd made both workouts were quite quick shifting intervals, like 1 minute or 2 minute. And so I need to concentrate on the progression of the row, as well as saying the right things and not being me. Basically, there's 3 Johns, and the third one may change, you know. The my row people might be like, oh, come on, man, give it some personality. But there's this John where these 5K rows and like the Sunday group rows on Exer, I just climb on and talk about whatever comes into my head. I'll make mistakes, I'll fluff my lines, I'll correct myself and stuff. It's not like I'll say, hey, row by pulling first, and leave it at that. Then there's Averon John. So the workouts that I make for the Averon machine, where I'm a bit more on point, but I do get chatty and a bit more anecdotal, certainly towards the end of the workouts with them. And then there's trying to be professional John that I was doing yesterday. And it might, well, like I said, could be just because I was chopping through the intervals so quick I couldn't really settle into the, like by the time I'd explained what you're meant to be doing in that minute, the next minute was coming up. So it's hard to actually settle into it. But I just found it mentally tougher and tougher to get through it. And at one point, I think at the end of the first one, I was just sitting there on the machine with my head in my hands going, why can't you get this? I think I was trying to record the intro for the next workout. And I'm like, you've been doing this for years. Why can't you talk to the camera? Could be because the camera was on my left side. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm only good when I talk to the right. Anyway, I got through them both. I'll edit them together today, send them to my row, see what they say. And they're probably perfectly fine. But I left just feeling, that was a slog. That was just so much hard work to get through. It was almost, I hate to use the phrase, but I just felt really down, as though I hadn't enjoyed it. And then got home, said hi to the family, picked up the kids. Well, that'll be the other way around really, won't it? Then I had an article to write for CNET, which I got through, sent that to the PR agency. Then dinner to cook, which was a nice maple syrup glazed salmon, with garlic and smoked paprika. Oh, it's lovely. Through all of which, I had 2 more cups of coffee, but this time proper mugs, so not much, and a pint of Diet Coke. So that's my only fluid intake since the morning, the 2 cups of coffee. And then came out into the studio last night to try and do some weights, and my body was like, nah mate, go back inside. So tried doing lat pull downs and calf raises, got through them, but my body was just not happy at all. So I spent half an hour tidying up in here, setting up the concept 2 for today's row rather than yesterday's Merak, and kind of went back got back home licking my wounds a bit, like, I don't know why I feel so low. And then had a really rubbish night's sleep. Took me about an hour to actually fall asleep. Then I kept on waking up through the night. And then, like I say, I woke up, went to the little boy's room, and I could tell by the colour of my pee-pee. No, my pee, not my pee-pee. That's different. That's what I mean about it. Saying the wrong thing. I'll say it properly. I could tell by the colour of my urine, I was massively dehydrated. So that's what went wrong yesterday. Because in those 2 workouts that I recorded, it was another 12,000 meters worth of rowing. So yesterday I did 18,000 meters worth of rowing on, like, I don't know, about 2.5 liters worth of fluid. It's no wonder I was so dehydrated. So I'm really pleased I worked out that's what it was, rather than it being just a massive sense of ennui when it comes to my accomplishment trying to film stuff. So if my row reject what I film for them, I'll be totally fine with it. I'll just re-record, but have a glass of water first. Okay, 1 more stroke and I'm done with my 5k. So I'm gonna just back off the pace. I'll try and hold 19, 20 strokes a minute again. Still. Sorry if that last stroke for me caused a hiccup in yours. Maybe you've caught up by now, but my apologies. But yeah, so that was my day yesterday. I told you so. Listen, these 5k everyday rows are always going to be a mix of a few different things. Sometimes, like yesterday, I'll get lost a little bit in technique talking about it, and it's usually because I've seen a video, like somebody sent me a video of them rowing, and so I'm commenting. I've sent them an email, and it's kind of stuck in my head what they were doing, and so then I'll talk about it just in case other people out there are the same. Because yesterday I was talking about not being fluid for the arms, tilt, knees, because the video I was watching was going arms, tilt, knees. And that pause before the knees was collapsing their posture. And I'll go back up to stroke rate again. So yes, there's technique, or I'll maybe talk a little bit more kind of mixed. There'll be a bit of technique, a bit of motivation, a bit of this is what I did this weekend, which is probably the more interesting for you, I guess. But then there'll be like today, that apart from talking about the imersU row at the beginning, and then a quick bit about technique, it was, well, about 15 minutes worth of, or maybe not that long, you get what I mean, about me talking about yesterday. But what I want you to take away from this, and probably should have been how I started, is the importance of hydration. Is that it really is the silent performance killer. I thought I was perfectly fine yesterday. Sat down on the machine, started that first workout, but just from a brain fog point of view, being dehydrated, that's what was causing me just to not really be totally focused when it came to what I was meant to say, and being able to row and talk at the same time and say the right things. And that was really a lesson learned. So, and it's not like the place doesn't have a toilet if I needed to go for a pee. Those are the days on the kayak, being out on lochs and stuff, where I'd be out on, I think it was Loch Lubnaig, because that was a really long perimeter paddle I did. I think it was about 2.5 hours. And I got about 2 hours into it, and I felt that kind of real, not just, I'm gonna need to pee soon, but proper, you're having to clench your, what muscles are they again? I remember this always being a chat with Julie after she had the kids, where she needed to work on her, basically her pee clenching muscles. Are they the same for men? Anyway, so yeah, trying to make it through that last half hour, because I didn't want to just stop, go like, get out the kayak, find a bush, and come back in again. That would have messed up the filming. And the other alternative would have been, well, let's not talk about that. But I did manage to make it. I kind of miss the kayaking stuff. I miss being out in like quiet and just hearing nothing but the splash of the paddle. But it just, from a time point of view, and even actually my hips, my body just couldn't take it that much. But it's the amount of time. It'd be like an hour and a half to drive to a loch, about an hour and a half either side to kind of rig and de-rig, a couple of hours on the water. The entire day had gone. And the whole reason I do this indoor rowing thing in the first place is because it's quick and I can get back to the family. There's no rigging needed. But I'm going to stop at 6K. Hopefully that's enough. Ooh. For you, that you managed to hit your 5K. Yes, anyway, so stuff I talk about, it's going to vary. This is really probably therapy. Let's just call it that. These 5K rows, even the Sunday extra rows, are therapy for me, where I just get to talk about the stuff that pops into my head, the things that are irking me, the things that I realize about my rowing or my life or whatever. And I just talk about it, and hopefully it keeps you engaged. But like I said a couple of days ago, if you don't like me or don't find me even vaguely interesting, or my story's vaguely interesting, then these probably aren't the rows for you. Or if nothing else, you can probably hit mute. But just watch what's going on in the background. But that's fine. Listen, if we were all the same, we all spoke about the same thing all the time, life would be very boring. Was it not a song in the 90s? If everybody looked the same, we'd all get tired of looking at each other, something like that. I think that was along those lines is the lyric. And it's true, okay? So I've come to accept that I have a niche, okay? And that my niche within the indoor rowing online video coaching community side of things just isn't as big as the other ones. This is someone got in touch actually the other day and said maybe the reason that your channel's growing is just literally just the demographics that watch you. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably true. Maybe I have hit saturation. After all, my demographic is the kind of like 40 plus folks rather than the kind of like the youngins that are trying to get fast in their kind of like 20s and 30s and stuff. So maybe I've just hit saturation and that's it. But I also hope that
by talking about stuff that affects me, and I'm kind of in and around at 50. I'm in and around the same kind of world as a lot of people are in terms of the struggle with food and trying to put and lose weight, all that kind of stuff. Because I'm just a normal guy that rows. I've got a day job and all that stuff, and blisters on my fingers. So yeah, there we go. Right, I'm going to shut up. Is that all right? I need to go and I've got, actually, my daughter has her chemistry prelim today, her prelim exam, her mock exam. So I need to get in, get showered and stuff, take her to that, wish her good luck and all that stuff. So thank you so much for joining me today in this row. Hopefully you found the story interesting. Hopefully I've talked enough that you managed to get to 5K or more in today, and that's really the most important part, right? If I can just keep you company while you're getting a good work in, I could just be sitting here singing Beatles songs. As long as it keeps you on the machine, if you're a Beatles fan, of course, and you get to the end. Don't know why I picked the Beatles. Why didn't I just say Van Halen? Anyway, Jamie's quick little daughter that's got her exam today. Her name is Jamie, and one of the reasons I wanted to call her Jamie is because of the Van Halen song "Jamie's Crying." There you go. Different spelling of Jamie, but that's why. Anyway, right, we're done. So go have a shower, have something to eat, have something to drink, pet your dog, your cat, whatever. And while you're doing that, say, "Oh, I love you, little fella." Oh. But then find a human being that it means something to and just go, "You know something? I love you." Just open up your heart, all right? And I will see you in the next workout, whether it's another 5K every day or whether it's one of the hundreds upon billionly squillions of workouts I've got up here on the channel, or maybe one of my app reviews or something. Who knows? Until then, please look after yourselves. Take care. Row well, be well. Bye-bye.